It's time to step into the spotlight and claim your star power. Hi, my name is Andréa Albright, and I am the hostess of Star Power TV, where we talk about how to amplify your energy, your magnetism, and your message in order to make an impact with your life, your voice, and your business. I am so thrilled to be interviewing a powerful star power woman today. Her name is Tonya Gonzalez. Welcome, Tonya.
Oh, thank you so much, Andrea, for having me here. I'm so excited and grateful to be a part of the Star Power.
Well, we love having you here. It's obvious from the moment we see you that you have that radiance, that shine, what people call star power. So I have to ask, how did you cultivate this star power in yourself? How did you get here? What is your business? And what is your mission that you're up to?
Well, it is definitely a good story and probably more time than we have together, Andrea. But how I really cultivated my star power was stepping into my spiritual practice. I had a very difficult childhood. I came from a dysfunctional family and all types of things, but I had spirit and I had faith, and that totally turned everything around for me and really allowed that star power to come through. Spiritual practice, prayer, meditation, yoga, all of those things really opened me up into a new experience. Because believe you me, I was not a star a few years ago, or maybe about a decade ago, but I really just said, what am I here to do? Show me, what am I here to do? And that really, I believe, was the key to really turning on my star power. And so my business as a psychic medium and a tarot expert, what I was doing, I started as a librarian. Believe it or not, I was actually a librarian, and I had started going to a spiritual center in Chicago. And then something shifted in me. I said, wait a minute, this is not what I'm meant to be doing. And so I was asking for guidance and looking for guidance. And so I was guided to Kripalu Yoga Center, where I then went to become a certified yoga teacher back in 2007. And from there, it just really opened so many things for me. I had always known I was psychic, but I also thought I was crazy because so many people think, oh, you're a psychic, you're crazy. You think you see things, it's not true, And this is, coming off of the time of Miss Cleo and so many different things that people really didn't believe in psychics, as they do now. It's a part of mainstream. And so I just had this energy. Am I making this stuff up? And so I went from doing, being in the library to then yoga. And then I was really guided to start really going towards my spiritual practice and my spiritual teaching. So then I became a licensed spiritual counselor. And so on Thursday nights, I would do tarot readings at a local coffee shop in Chicago. And then I got written up in a paper, and then Craigslist had just started. And so then I started getting booked for parties and bridal showers. And I even did a Harry Potter festival when Harry Potter first came out. And so I was doing all these different tarot things, and people were really drawn to my tarot readings, my psychic mediumship. And so I said, wait a minute, Spirit, is this what I'm meant to do? And so then I created my first website in 2009. And then fast forward 3 years, in 2012, I was picked to join the International Psychic Challenge in Kiev on a reality show. And I was voted number 3 psychic in the world. And so it kind of, once I said, okay, I'm all in, and Spirit just took the rest of it. So that's what I do today. So thank you for letting me share that.
What an incredible journey you've been on. And you have touched on so many points that I want to speak about. The first is you spoke about how you thought maybe you were crazy or it was something, it was too weird or strange. Do you think that that's part of the journey of questioning those gifts? And what would you say to the viewer who may be in that situation of like, I think I'm experiencing something that's beyond, but I'm questioning it and I'm judging myself? What would you say to them if they're going through that right now?
Oh, such a great question, Andrea. It is absolutely a part of the journey because, again, this is spiritual. This is deeply spiritual. I had to get rid of all the obstacles that were in my way, including I used to be a heavy drinker. I had to stop drinking. I had to leave the place that I was, and I started traveling around the world. And I had to really get in touch with myself so I could really open up those gifts because the judgment, oh my gosh, is real. It is a journey, and it's a journey into yourself that requires your connection to spirit. And if you're drinking and, eating food that aren't healthy and things like that, those things cripple your intuitive gifts, whether you're an artist or a psychic or, a musician. You've got to get into your gift before it's fully amplified. You've got to give it your all, and that's always in the heart. So to the viewer, go for it. Don't let anybody tell you who you are. Allow spirit to show you who you are and amplify that star power.
What you're saying is so powerful. You're knocking over things in your vortex, right?
Yes,
this is
exactly.
how powerful it is. I love the power of the message that's coming through you. And you can tell that you have been through this journey. And now that you are claiming it, instead of denying it or trying to push it aside, do you believe that that's what has allowed more of your star power, psychic, healing, and what we would call beyond the normal of gifts? Do you believe that that's amplified it?
Absolutely. As I shared, I had to stop, doing the things that were hurting myself because, again, as I shared at the very beginning, I grew up in a very dysfunctional family. And so I had this angst, this anger, this fear, this pain within me, but I had to be willing to step beyond it. I had to get past those stories, past those things that held me down, and including the alcohol. I had to say, this is hurting me. What will heal me? And it really was diving into what I know I'm meant to do as a psychic and a medium. Again, I would have never thought I'd be traveling around the world with a deck of 78 cards and that be my work when I had gone to library school and done so many different things. But, when you are serious about what you are here to do, then the universe does everything to open it. It's just like that line from The Alchemist, your treasure truly is within you. And you can, when you allow it to come through, the universe conspires to make it happen for you like that. Like I would have never, ever. The thing is, I should tell you, before I was voted number 3 psychic in the world, I was living in Key West, Florida. I was working as a busboy, a hostess, and a server. I still had my clients. I was still doing my weekly radio show. Back then it was Blog Talk Radio was the big thing. And so I was still doing all of that when I got the email. And when I got the email, I thought, is this a joke? I was like, is this a joke? Because it just seemed it came out of nowhere, absolutely out of nowhere. And the TV show was based in Kiev, Ukraine. Here I was in Key West, Florida, Kiev, Ukraine. And so many people were, when I told them at my job, I was like, oh, I'm going to go be on a TV show. And they were like, are you kidding me? They're going to sell you on the black market. Didn't you see Taken? They're going to steal you. You're going to go to Kiev, Ukraine. You're crazy. I was like, or I could continue being a waitress here. So I went for it. And again, I knew that I was being guided and provided every single step of the way.
Such a beautiful story. And we are all so glad that you took that leap, took that step, and trusted your inner vision. So, Tonya, what do you think is star power? What's your definition, and how do you know when someone's got it?
Well, that's a great question. Well, star power really is your connection to spirit. Many of us think it's about how we look on the outside, what we have, what car we drive, our level of education, the money in the bank, but it has nothing to do with that. Our inner light is what radiates out. And if you have a positive heart, then you have to have a positive mind, because you can't have one without the other. And that truly is what star power is to me. Star power is really allowing your light to shine. And one of my favorite Tanya-isms, I call it, is one sparkles, but many glow. And so star power, you attract that saying to you. So like-minded, it's just like the two ends of the battery, the negative, no matter how you try to force it, it never works, but when you put those two positives together, the magic happens. And so star power is really allowing your soul to lead you, not your head, not your ego self, but truly your inner light. And how people know that they have it is, how do they feel? How are they being out in the world? How are they serving? How are they sharing their gifts? How are they, shining their gifts? Because it's not about just us. It truly is. Even this collaboration, us coming together, this is star power. You knew you couldn't do it on your own. Like I said, one sparkles, but many glow.
That's beautiful. I love that. And I'm so glad that you went to the idea of collaboration and that there isn't scarcity. The light, that connection that we have to that inner self that radiates outward. If one person shines, it doesn't mean that it takes away from someone else's ability to shine. And would you even say that when stars light each other up, that they glow brighter?
Absolutely. They absolutely glow. And that's what we're meant to do. We're not meant to do this on a solo journey. It is truly when we come together. It's just like, the stars at night. They're not competing with each other. I want to shine brighter. I want to shine. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. They light up the sky for us, showing us that you can be right next to another star and you can still shine. There is enough for all of us to shine. The thing is, most of us don't believe it. And our true worth is our wealth. It's not about what we have in the bank. It's not about the clothes that we wear, the jewelry we have. It is truly about knowing our inner worth. And we are all stars. The thing is, we've got to tap into it ourselves.
That's fantastic. So let's get into the tactical. We've talked about what it is and how you know when you're tapped into it. What is the one action step someone could take to tap into that star power within themselves today?
Oh, I love that. And my best and I get this question a lot. It's prayer. It's prayer. And it's because that is your connection to the divine. Now, it's not getting on your hands and knees and saying, please give me what I want, then I'll be a good person. No, actually, it's saying, I'm here. I'm available. Show me what to do. Guide me where I need to be. Teach me what I need to know. Let me forgive myself. Prayer is the conduit from us to the universe. It is our soul power, our star power from the divine to ourselves. And if we allow ourselves to just take a moment to listen to our higher self, then we are guided. So many people come to me, oh my gosh, I knew that. We know our soul is always speaking to us. The thing is, our ego speaks louder. Our mind speaks louder. We've been so conditioning to believe, I can figure it out. I know how to do it. But listen, I tell everyone, the whatever it is that created the sun, moon, and stars, the universe, and the harmony that's out there in nature that we don't even still know how to figure it out, and all the animals in the depths and all these amazing, magical, mysterious things. If that, whatever created that, I want that running my life. I want that energy running my life, because what do I know? What I've learned. But the universe knows everything. And so it's important that we allow ourselves to stop and what I call pause and pray and really ask, what am I doing? Because 9 times out of 10, people always come to me and say, you know what? I knew that, but I didn't listen. The listening is in the prayer.
That's so beautiful. Well, it's not every day that we get to talk to a full-blown psychic. And I'm curious, do you believe that everybody has psychic abilities within them, or is it just a few lucky people?
Oh, for sure. Pardon me. Everyone has intuitive gifts. Just like everyone is empathetic, we're all highly empathetic people. We're all psychic to some extent. You know, it's the ego self that tells us don't go down that dark street, but it's also the ego self that says I'm better than you. And so when we allow ourselves to have that intuition, that's when we go in. See, our ego self is the outer self, but our inside self says, this way, beloved. And the thing is, we've been so programmed to not listen to that part of ourselves that we don't believe it. And so it does take training, but everyone does have it. Mothers have it. I mean, but so do men. It's not that it's exclusive. Some people, like myself, have extrasensory experiences, which doesn't make me better. It just shows that this is my gift. My husband is an accomplished artist. I can't draw stick figures. That's not my gift. This truly is my gift, you know? And so, you know, musicians and actresses and healers, they all have an amazing gift. And we all do. But again, we have to listen to our intuition to be able to understand what that true gift is.
That's great. Well, just as you mentioned, it seems like more and more people are open to talking about their psychic abilities and even learning how to hone their psychic abilities. Why do you think the society and culture is more open to these kinds of conversations than just a few years ago?
Oh, this is because we're in the age of Aquarius, beloved. This is what our ancestors had been telling us. There would be a time that we have to come back into our spiritual selves, a time where we have to remember the truth and let go of the things that had been hurting us. You know, so if we think about it by centuries, the 50s was supposed to be this traditional, you know, stay-at-home mom, father out there working. Then the 60s was the bra burnings and the civil rights movement. Then the 70s was this time of harmony and peace. However, actually, no, the 70s was the war. And so they had been telling us there will be an age when we have to come back to our natural selves. We're eating more plant-based food, being connected to nature. Because every century for the last, I want to say 100 years, we've moved further and further away from it. And so the age of Aquarius, people believe that Aquarius is a sign of mental energy. And many of us right now, it's mental airways and energy airways. Aquarius is truly about energy. And so this surge of spirituality is truly about us connecting to our energy. Remember, even Einstein said energy is everything. And so this is what we're recognizing, that energy is everything. We're starting to see how our effects in Mother Nature, energy is everything, animals' effects in us and everything, the natural cycles of the earth. Energy is everything. And so this age of Aquarius is an opportunity for us to wake up. And that's why we're having this structural breakdown of everything that we have ever known, because we've moved so far away from our natural Mother Earth, connected to the feminine energy and the healing abilities that we all have. And that's why there's such a surge, because guess what? Don't we need it? Don't we need it now more than ever? And we've been being prepared for this. And it will continue because Mother Earth has told us we've damaged her. We've caused animals to go extinct, you know? And so the age of Aquarius is about the resetting of the earth and the resetting of ourselves.
It's really powerful when you think about this. And so you're actually saying that this is natural and it's about balance and it's about coming back to a place of balance with nature and with our true selves.
Absolutely. We've been so disconnected from ourselves. You know, I was a child of the 80s. So of course, in the 80s, it was all about me, 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 me. How, I remember the big shoulder pads, and, it was like, ooh, the bigger your shoulder pads. I mean, some of these shoulder pads were so big, and women started wearing more suits and, the defeminization of women. And now we have this overtly sexualization of women. Is that Mother Nature? No, the Mother Nature it's a feminine energy. And so as women, we've learned from the 80s to masculize ourselves, and men then have been emasculated, which is why there's so much male anger and angst in the world. And that's what we're seeing out there in the arena. I don't want to go into politics, but we're seeing this male energy because men have been emasculated by women going to work. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but we now can make more than men, and that emasculates men. So this is the balance of the feminine and the masculine. This is the balance of the mother and the child, the woman and her womb, even the man and his creative emotional self. So many men are so without their emotional selves. This is why alcoholism is so high. And now that marijuana is legal, so many people are using marijuana now as a crutch. It is a medicinal medicine that they used, for centuries in the different tribes around the world, and as herbology, and so it's really about, and even that is about Mother Nature teaching us that it is truly medicine. And so we're learning this, but we're trying to keep what we like and our comforts, which has made us complacent. And so now we're seeing, no, we've all got to be in this together. And so that's truly what this is all teaching us, that we really have to do this together, because we are one. We are one with the universe and every animal that there is.
This is great. Well, it really feeds back into the star power, about aligning with that inner strength inside of you. And when you amp up so much, you flow over with abundance, and all you want to do is serve and heal. And so what would you suggest for the viewer to get to this place of balance and peace within themselves, regardless of chaos or crisis that's happening around? How do you find that inner peace and inner radiance that you are so elegantly and gracefully expressing with us today?
It's truly about tapping into your inner self. So many of us are disconnected from ourselves. We're so attached to our phones. We're attached to our stuff. We have more stuff than we need. So it's really going back to basics. Who am I? What am I here for? What's my purpose? And many of us know this. The thing is, because we're so disconnected from ourselves, we don't know who we are. So it's really about being quiet. Again, prayer, meditation, yoga. None of these things cost a thing. And yet they're so powerful, and yet we resist them because we think that it's meant to cost. Again, it's the conditioned mind that has told us that things of value are outside of us. And so when we start to remember that our value, our worth is our true wealth, then we will start to really come back into harmony. And so being quiet, this is why so many people go to natural places for vacation. Why? Because they know that's where they resource and recharge themselves. That natural energy recharges the soul. So we need more of that in our lives. Walking around barefoot in the grass, going for walks on the beach, being quiet, time away from your phone, giving yourself social media breaks, eating naturally and healthy. That raises the vibration. It lowers our vibration to eat milk and dairy and meat. It lowers our vibration. So if you want a higher vibration, you've got to eat the things and experience the things that lift you instead of bringing you down.
Well, if you just followed that one section of advice right there, nothing will touch you. And that's amazing what you're speaking about, because it's not just surviving a crisis. It's about being proactive so that nothing takes you down. Such great advice, Tonya.
Yeah, because, you know, we spend so much time being caught up trying to figure it out. There's nothing to figure out. We've got to tune into ourselves and then everything will come to us.
Amazing. Okay, so now I want to do a part of the interview, which I do with all of my guests, and I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions.
All right, let's do it.
You get to just tap in and answer whatever comes to mind. So this is a great way for us to get to know you on a deeper level. So first question. What book has had the most influence on your life?
Oh gosh, there's so many. I'm a librarian. I love books, right? But I would have to say The Alchemist. It's such a simple read. The book, The Story of Santiago. I read it every year again for my birthday because it truly reminds me that our treasure is within. So The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, one of my favorite authors.
Oh, that's well done. I know how hard that is. Being a publisher, I love all books, and you did great with that. I love The Alchemist. And it reads more like poetry.
It does. You know,
it's not, it gets into a part of your subconscious where you don't even feel like you're reading. You just feel like you're on this amazing, beautiful, poetic journey. Great book. Definitely one of my top favorites. Okay, next question. Who has most positively impacted your life?
I would have to say Maya Angelou. I was blessed to see her live at Oprah's extravaganza, her last big hurrah, when she was still in Chicago. And I was able to get tickets and I just bawled my eyeballs out because her story was so very much like mine. She had a very dysfunctional childhood, you know, no father figure. She had been sexually abused and she went mute for years where she didn't speak to anyone. And many people don't know that part of her story. And yet she was an actress. She was an activist. She became a writer, a playwright, an award-winning. I mean, she did everything, and I just love that she never said no to life, even though her humble beginnings, and Oprah herself as well. You know, Oprah comes from very humble beginnings, and yet they knew that they had star power. They knew, and one of the stories I love about Oprah is this one, and I know I'm kind of mixing those two together, but Oprah had said when her mother was a maid for a white family that they didn't let her sleep in the house and she had to sleep on the porch. And she would look up at the stars every night and say to herself, one of these days I'm going to shine as bright as you. And so, I mean, does she not shine? And so, I mean, to go from that story and her own sexual abuse and all of her own things to be now Oprah. I mean, we don't even have to say her name, just like Beyonce, you know, we don't have to say their last name. We just know who they are. And so it's women who've gone through these journeys that might not always look so pretty, but they've taken those wounds and turned it into their wisdom and their wealth and their worth.
That's phenomenal. What an incredible story. I didn't think I could love Oprah anymore. You hear these stories about what she has overcome. And I didn't know that about Maya Angelou as well. Really phenomenal. And it just goes to show that your story is not who you are. You can recreate your story under any situation or circumstance.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Love it. Okay, next question. What's your favorite subject to talk about?
Oh, spirituality, psychic things, tarot. I guess all of that. It's like esoteric things, you know. I'm very drawn to it. My birthday is July 22nd, so it is very connected to the Kabbalah. The 7 and 22 are very big numbers in the Kabbalah, as well as in tarot. And so it's almost like I was born to do this because I was also born on a new moon's partial solar eclipse. So And I'm a cusp. So I've got the moon and the sun and the new moon and all of this. And so it's almost like I was actually early. I was supposed to be a Leo, but I needed that Cancer side for the psychic side. And so it really is all things spiritual. It's just my favorite thing to talk about.
Well, I know everybody watching this interview is going to want to come over to your website and learn everything they can, because you are an amazing teacher of what could be complex. I love how you break it down with so much passion and simplicity.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Here's your next question. So you've already talked about being a busboy and a waitress and all of that. But what was your very first job?
Oh gosh, making sandwiches in a sandwich shop, before Subway. At the time I was living in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and I was, I think, about 14 years old. And I wanted to make my own money so I could do my own thing. And so, I was making sandwiches. Hungry Head, actually. I can't believe I remember the name. Hungry Head Subs. Yep, that was my first job.
Good for you. Well, I think that's wonderful that you've been working since such a young age, and here you are today, not just working, but following your passion, which is a completely new realm of possibility for people to discover. Okay, next question. What are your 3 greatest gifts that you share with the world? And I know you have a lot, so what are your top 3?
My top 3, I would have to say absolutely first is my gift as psychic. I surprise myself. People think that it's just, oh, she has it and it just comes. But, I just say I'm the conduit. So I let it flow through. I used to question it. Is this true? Is this not true? But I've learned that I just have to let it flow. Number 2 would have to be the tarot. Again, I don't know what my connection is to the tarot. I was actually meant to go to Egypt before the global experience happened and share the insights of Egypt within it, that tarot encompasses. And so tarot is also something that I had no idea that was such an ingrained part of my life. And I am a writer as well. So I love to write. I've been writing. And again, I think this is why I became a librarian too. I just wanted to be near the books, And so I love to write poetry and fiction and erotica and nonfiction. And I love to write. So those are my top 3 gifts.
Fantastic. Wow. Well, I can't wait to read all of your different genres.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Little taste there. Okay. Next question. If you could have any actress play you in a movie, who would it be?
Oh my goodness. Now this is a great question. I have no idea.
I have some ideas, but I'm going to let you discover it for yourself.
Any actress. Well, the first person who came to my mind was Josephine Baker. And then it went to Whitney Houston. And then it went to Lena Horne. So I'm not sure who I would have play me, but I would have to say who's living. Maybe Halle Berry.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yes, Halle Berry. Or I was going to say Jada Pinkett Smith. You've got her vibe,
Yeah. One of them. Yeah.
Well, they would all be fortunate to play you. Okay, next question. What do you want your legacy to be?
Oh, my legacy to be is that I served, I shared, and I shined. And in serving, that means that I gave my gifts. I allowed my gifts to be amplified and to share those gifts, and to shine is allowing it to come through, because it's not easy to allow your gifts to come through, especially, as a psychic medium. It's still not, as a Black woman, it's still, there's still so many superstitions and all these different things. And so I guess it would really be that my legacy, that I served, I shared, and I shined, because I know that that is what I'm here to do. And so, and serving others is huge for me. Huge.
That is an amazing title for your next book. I'm just saying. Well done. That's like, boom, knocked it out of the park on that one. Woo!
Thank you.
Okay, so with all this talk about books, which I know you and I could talk forever about books and the power of books and why they're so important, even more today than at any part of our history, the books that are being written and being shared with the world really are this turning point for society and humanity. I know that we could have a whole long conversation about that. But let's go back to your childhood. And what was your favorite childhood book?
Oh, it would have to be, I read so many different like magical and mystical books, and it would have to be the one that was just a movie, and now I can't think of the name of it, that Oprah was in. Not The Compass.
The Color Purple?
No, it was a childhood movie. It just came out not too long ago.
A Wrinkle in Time.
Yes, A Wrinkle in Time. I read that so many times because, again, it had this spiritual, magical energy to it. And I love that. And I was so drawn to it. And again, as a kid, I spent so much time in the library, which is, again, why becoming a librarian was like, are you serious? I have always been one to have a library card. And so, yeah, I love books. And by the time I was 13, I was reading Jackie Collins because I had read all the kids' books and it was like, oh, I need some new novels. And I discovered Jackie Collins, and Dynasty was on at the time. And so I thought it was just this Beverly Hills, lifestyle. And I was so fascinated by it. And so, yeah, I was reading Jackie Collins, but yeah, A Wrinkle in Time was like one of the most magical books I had ever read, and very similar almost to The Alchemist. So that I just put those two and two together. So that journey.
Isn't that amazing how you can see these threads?
Yeah.
And what we're drawn to. Well, cool. I'm glad you're getting some aha awareness.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah. Thank you.
Next question. What's the best place you've ever traveled?
Oh my gosh. I've been to so many amazing and beautiful places.
I didn't say these were going to be easy.
No, Switzerland is a place that I love, and so is Spain. And northern Spain is amazing. I went to this beautiful little town called Alenquer that it was built into a cliff. I just remember that. But I would have to say Morocco. It just has a magic to it that, again, takes me on that alchemist journey, of discovering something new, and the smells and the people and the markets. And so, yeah, I would have to say Morocco.
So amazing. I know that anybody who hasn't been to Morocco is going to want to go now.
Oh my gosh. And the cool thing is I took a ferry from Spain. We went through the Straits of Gibraltar, and then we went to Morocco. So it was like this amazing adventure that I was on, because I lived in Marbella, Spain for quite a few months. And so I traveled to the Strait of Gibraltar, and from there you could actually see Morocco. And then they told me, oh, there's a ferry. I was like, what? Oh my gosh. So I went from Tarifa to Morocco, very much like The Alchemist. And so, I just remember all those places in the book, and I was like, I'm doing it. So that's why I think it's one of my favorite places too.
Oh, that's gorgeous. I love it. Well, talk about making your dreams come true. You're living them. Okay, so all this talk about Oprah, the next question. So imagine that you're being interviewed by Oprah And what are you talking about? What is she asking you?
Oh, I think she's probably asking me about motherhood. You know, growing up, I was a single mother very young. She's asking me about entrepreneurship. I have a passion for entrepreneurship and supporting other spiritual entrepreneurs. She's asking me about the journey into myself and how did I get here? You know, so I'd be sharing with her the story of being a busboy and a hostess before going on TV as well. So it's really that sacred journey of the self. And I want to say, you know, it's a lot different for women than it is for men. You know, men have, again, I'm not a man, so I don't know, but they have, it seems like more of an external journey, you know, the hero's journey. And for women, it is more of an internal journey of discovering our magic that comes through our womb and through our intuition. And so I think she'd be asking me some of these questions, or at least I hope so.
Wow, that's great. Well, I'm definitely going to ask you more about the spiritual entrepreneurship before the end of our interview. You just keep dropping these amazing bombs of new ideas for conversations. Okay, last rapid fire question. What's your secret indulgence?
Oh, gosh. I would have to say my secret indulgence. It's probably not so secret, but definitely the beach. The beach is the thing that feeds my soul. And for years and years, growing up in Chicago, I had said I wanted to live near the ocean. And so I've shared with you some of the places where I've lived. I've been looking for my ocean, looking for my place, because again, I'm a Cancer, so water is my element. And so my secret indulgence, when I go to the beach, I'm like a little girl laughing, giggling. I just throw myself in the water. I go underneath. That's my secret indulgence. And other than that, I would have to say really good food. I love seafood. I love lobster and crab and things like that. So, and beauty products. I love beauty products. Sephora. So I named three.
I know, I was going to say, we only needed one, but this is great. Yeah. We get to find out so much about you. Well, you did amazing with those questions. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. There has been so much knowledge, wisdom, star power information that you've shared. I do want to touch on that spiritual entrepreneurship. So what do you mean when you say spiritual entrepreneurship, and why are you so passionate about that?
Well, spiritual entrepreneurship really is the spirit of your business. You know, many people go into business for their passion because, you know, being an entrepreneur is not easy. And so you've got to have a deep conviction. And that conviction, again, is spiritually based because you're going to hear a lot of no's. You're going to go through those ebbs and flows. And to be able to get back up and say, I'm going to keep doing it anyway. And so spiritual entrepreneurship for me really is staying connected to that spirit part of your business. Really, again, as I said, everything is based on spirit. Our work that we do, this isn't about a job. This is about a true passion. As again, my husband is an artist, my daughter is an actress. Those kind of things, they take passion. They take grit, you know, because you're going to hear a lot of no's before you hear yeses. And so it's really that spiritual part of your business and staying truly passionate, no matter what happens on the outside, never giving up. I would have never thought I'd be in business as long as I have been. Again, a little deck of tarot cards and this gift as a psychic. I never thought that this was something that I could actually do with my life. And yet here I am a decade later or more actually now. And it's just been an amazing journey. So I want to continue in supporting people and staying with it instead of giving up, because giving up is a lot easier than it is to stay on the journey.
That's fantastic that you're discussing that. I've been an entrepreneur for over 16 years. And if you don't have that passion and that connection to something bigger than you and making it about more than just money, then you're never going to be able to overcome those obstacles that you face along the way. And it's so rewarding when you stay true to yourself, to your higher self, to your spirit, when you create that business in alignment with it. Because when the physical world starts to reflect it back to you, then you know that it's part of your true self. And you really have no fear of losing it either, because it's an extension of you.
Oh, I love that you just said that. You're not afraid. If you are afraid of losing it, then it's not true for you. And that's the thing. You know, my husband last year broke his hand. And when he broke his hand, he was like, oh my God, this is my gift. And so he prayed on his hand, and he said, I won't ever, make that mistake again. This is so valuable to me, and that's what we have to do. We have to sometimes almost lose the thing that we want so much in order to really see, wait a minute. And then you never lose it. You never lose it. In fact, it only grows and amplifies. And again, as you said, it is truly your star power because it belongs to you. And that's what makes you unique, what makes you you. It's not a brand, it's truly who you are.
Wow, this is amazing. I love your approach to business and the alignment of yourself with your gifts. And I'm sure that this is just the beginning of the knowledge, the information, the wisdom you share with your community. Tell us what you're up to. Tell us about your website and where the viewer can find you and get more of this juicy inspiration that you've been flowing to us today.
Well, I love Instagram. I love social media. I was one of the early adapters on Facebook. And the reason I love it is because I do have friends all over the place. And I love knowing that I can reach out to them on Facebook if I don't have their phone number, And so I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Tonya Gonzalez. I also am creating and growing a community called Brown Girls Who Coach. And this is really for women of color to come together and have a place to commune and to collaborate and to converse with each other about the business of coaching, but also that spiritual aspect. And so I'm also working on my upcoming book. And so I'm excited about that. That is something that's just so near and dear to my heart. And it really is the true story of me. So it's a memoir, and I haven't shared it yet. I've been waiting for my birthday, but I will definitely be sharing that with you and others very soon. And so you can find me on my website at tarotlifecoach.com. I am, of course, in that restructuring phase of that, but it is definitely something that I'm excited about. I have so many amazing things. I'm a visionary, so I'm always coming up with new ideas and things too, Andrea. So it is, I guess it's just a part of the gift of always moving forward, right? Of revamping, revisiting, restructuring, all of that fun stuff. So yeah, those are the places that you can find me.
That's amazing. Well, I know that you are never going to be boring. We definitely want to keep following you and see what you're up to. Please let us know when your book comes out. I think what you're doing for creating a movement for women to support one another, I think it's absolutely phenomenal. And we need more of this collaboration and this sisterhood on our planet. So thank you for what you are creating. Now, so we could talk all day, but we're going to wrap this up for today. How do you believe the world would be different if more people accessed their star power?
There would be less hate in the world, which means there would be less crime, there would be less greed. If we all really tuned into our own power, we wouldn't need to hurt each other. There would be less drugs, less alcohol, because we'd all be tuned into our gifts, and then we'd be sharing that with our children, and our parents would be teaching it to us. we'd be more collaborative. We'd be more of a true community, a more global society, instead of this is mine, that's yours, you're different than me. It would be less separate. We'd be less separate because we would know that what we just shared, that what you have doesn't take from me and what I have doesn't take from you. We are stars in the galaxy together, shining bright.
That was absolutely perfect. So well said. Well, you are definitely a star. Thank you so much for shining your light with us here today, Tonya. You're amazing.
Thank you so much for having me, Andrea. This has just been such an amazing opportunity and such a pleasure meeting you. I just love your light, and I'm so grateful to be a part of your Star Power series.
Yay. Well, I know it's just the beginning, and we will definitely be hearing more from Tonya and other incredible stars. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being a part of this Star Power episode. Remember, it's time for you to step into the spotlight, to shine your light, to share your gifts. The world needs your message. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.